It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen some posts out there that Lexmark executives are putting on social media. I'm reading these things and I'm thinking to myself, what in the hell are you people doing? And I want to challenge some of those posts and the content within those posts. But before I do that, I want to share some thoughts. I got my BTA magazine. So, ladies and gentlemen, every time I read a magazine, I think I'm in 1990. Of course, I am going to Print United in Atlanta next week, and I'm sure the people that sell graphics industrial equipment are saying, Ray, we get money from magazine printing. I would just tell those people, I bet you get a lot less money today than you did in 1990. It's a slippery slope, folks, I got to tell you. But I'm looking forward to going to Print United in Atlanta next week. But I'm going through this BTA magazine, and the first thing I want to do is I want to address the cover, and I want to do a big shout out and a congratulations to Applied Innovation, Capital Office Products, and my friends at Craft Business. They all have articles, and they're talking about how they're passing their companies on to the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, that has to be so awesome. You have to be so proud of that. I mean, entrepreneurs build a company, and they always have an exit strategy in mind, and when it can go to the second generation, that's just awesome. That is the American dream. Congratulations to those three organizations, and congratulations to the next generation, and I wish you well. Our industry is going through massive changes and transition. It's really going to take that next generation to navigate those, and these three leaders understand that. Congratulations again to all of you. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going through this magazine, and I run across an article written by Bob Goldberg, and it's around the supply chain. According to Bob Goldberg, it was a fantastic panel discussion. Bob, I got to tell you, I think I said this before, it really sucked. I don't know why our industry just can't admit when something just doesn't go over real well. This panel discussion wasn't that good. As I said at the end of it, because I was there, hey, I'm glad you all had it. But at the end of the day, when I looked around the audience, I realized, I'm not going to disrupt this panel disruption because I know that Bob Goldberg and a few of the board members were horrified that would happen. Oh, Ray's going to go up there and ask all kinds of questions. He's going to disrupt this whole thing. But when I looked around the audience, I realized, if I do an episode on it, more people will watch that episode that are sitting in this room. And some of the people sitting in the room will watch the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is the panel discussion was terrible. The only relevant actor on that panel discussion in the context of what we needed to hear was Trisha Judge. And the things she talked about, a lot of y'all didn't want to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, when people talk to you about stuff you don't want to hear, you need to listen. And then you need to evaluate the reason you don't want to hear it. Bob Goldberg put together a panel discussion. He was the moderator of it, so it's his puppy. But he put that thing together, and here's what he didn't do. He didn't look in the places he needed to look to get the answers he needed to ask so the audience could get the answers they need. That's a fact. He didn't look where he needed to look so he could get the questions he needed to ask so the audience could get the answers they need. Ladies and gentlemen, look, here's the reality. The only reason the BTA even had that panel discussion is because I made him do it. Now, I know that Bob Goldberg and some of the board members are going to say, oh, that's crazy, Ray. We were going to have that panel discussion from day one. No, you weren't. Because you set the agenda for the meeting well after the Department of Homeland Security banned 9-Star. But I beat on you about that banning of 9-Star. The fact that you were still marketing and advertising 9-Star on your website as a sponsor. I did 3 episodes and showed that on the Sharp Interactive board 3 different times. You finally decided to take them off. I talked about how you should have a panel discussion at your next meeting. You need to have a panel discussion at your next meeting. And lo and behold, you decide to have a panel discussion at your next meeting. Here's the other thing I suggested about the panel discussion. I suggested the very first thing the moderator should do is show the letter they sent Lexmark and the response from Lexmark. Bob Goldberg took my advice on that. The problem is, I also volunteered to help the BTA with that panel discussion. They didn't want any part of that. When I sent the email to Brett asking if he wanted some help on the panel, you know what he said? Oh, we already got it all figured out. We already got all the people we want. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel discussion wasn't what it needed to be. Because our industry struggles in looking where they need to look to get the questions they need so they can inform the audience with the answers the audience needs. Here's some realities. I don't believe Bob Goldberg should have been the moderator. I believe Bob Goldberg should have been a panelist. representing the BTA and the dealers as the lawyer, alongside of Trish. I believe that when Sam Ergo, the president and CEO of Konica Minolta USA, told the whole entire audience that they don't manufacture product in China, that the moderator should have said, well, Sam, I've been to the Konica website. You got 2 factories you're bragging about. What are you making there? I would have also asked Sam this question. On August 28th of 2019, the CEO of Konica and the CEO of 9-Star, in a signing ceremony in Zhuhai, China, signed an agreement. What was that agreement all about? What's been going on between Konica Minolta and 9-Star since 2019? What's that relationship today? The problem is that the moderator, Bob Goldberg, didn't want to look in the places he needed to look to get the questions he needed to ask so the audience could get the answers they need. I would have asked Oscar Sanchez, the president and CEO of Kyocera, Oscar, you have every single product that Lexmark has. You got the greatest A4 lineup of any manufacturer. And at the end of the day, you could realistically take out all of Lexmark. Is Kyocera putting a program together to take out all of Lexmark and all of those dealers? Can they do it? I'd love to hear what Oscar had to say about that. You could have asked Mike, the president of Sharp USA, this question. Mike, I realize that the agreements you have are with Lexmark. But at the end of the day, Lexmark's owners, 9-Star, have been banned over slave labor. We know that Phantom and G&G and Lexmark and all this manufacturing has to have some commonality. Mike, are you willing to walk away from all of 9-Star subsidiaries, Lexmark included? And if you are willing to walk away from them, how's that going to impact your dealers? Talking about we're going to move stuff to Mexico and all this other stuff. No one cares about any of that. The question that the whole entire industry needs to understand is, can we walk away from Lexmark? And the answer should be yes. And the answer should be, we want to walk away from Lexmark because their owners, 9-Star, have been banned over slave labor. Ladies and gentlemen, some of these posts that the executives at Lexmark are putting out are hysterical. You got Alan out there putting out a post, the CEO, on National Manufacturing Day, talking about 750,000 open manufacturing positions in the U.S., blah, blah, blah. You know what he should have said on National Manufacturing Day? Lexmark's owned by a PRC company called 9-Star. That company's been banned by the Department of Homeland Security over slave labor. It is so disgusting and upsetting to Lexmark, all the people that work at Lexmark in the free world. This is why we need to bring manufacturing back into the U.S. Boy, that would have been something powerful to say. He talks about the relationship they have with Microsoft. Alan, I got to ask you a question. Have you personally talked to the CEO of Microsoft and explained to the CEO of Microsoft how your owner's 9-Star, and they are your owners, they're not your investors because they own over 62% of your equity, have been banned by the Department of Homeland Security over slave labor, forced labor? Have you shared that information with the CEO of Microsoft? Ladies and gentlemen, we can't let friendships, bourbon, and steak dinners win against slave labor. We just can't do it. And I know that a lot of my friends in the industry, especially here in the free world, they have great relationships with people that work at Lexmark. This is bigger than them, and I've said this before. Oscar, maybe the president of Brother USA, why don't you go down to Kentucky and do a little research? Find some nice steakhouses. Find some places that you could bring people and give them bourbon flights. Find a couple of racetracks you want to go to. Invite Lexmark dealers to dinner. Give them some bourbon. Take them to a horse race. And help them escape Lexmark. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fight. It is. There's nothing nice about this. This is going to be a fight. When people leave Lexmark, it's going to be extremely painful to Lexmark. There is no doubt about it. But we have to be willing to fight for that. The Lexmark executives, from their president Alan on down, can all go find new jobs. But at the end of the day, that company was sold to a PRC company in 2016. And now that PRC company owns even more of Lexmark. And now that PRC company has been banned by the Department of Homeland Security over slave labor, forced labor. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a post they put out there. Printers remain a critical business tool, which is why Lexmark designed Go Line for small to medium-sized businesses. Check out our top printer reviews and best of best award mentions. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Goldberg actually said in that article that Phantom makes the Go Line. You got Lexmark 2 weeks ago promoting the goal line. So is in fact Lexmark actually promoting products that are made and tainted with the sweat of slave labor? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we've known in our industry that manufacturers make products and put all kinds of different names on them, right? I mean, we all know that. We're not stupid. I mean, look at this. Here's the G&G printer. And by the way, G&G is actually banned. They're one of the subsidiaries banned along with 9-Star. Here's the Panta printer. They're one of the subsidiaries actually banned along with 9-Star. Here's that G&G printer. Y'all think it's a different machine? Come on, folks. I mean, what the hell? So here's your justification. Oh, the Lexmark machine, they make in Mexico. I mean, they're not using slave laborers down there. They're using the slaves up in China where they make the G&G and Panta. Death by association. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe Marco Rubio's right. And Marco Rubio's on the Senate floor right now, and he's trying to get death by association with these PRC companies. He wants to literally ban everybody that touches these PRC companies through the supply chain. I think he's correct in that, by the way. The free world cannot tolerate slave labor. The free world cannot try to figure out how we're going to circumvent it. The free world just needs to say, you've been banned, you're done. And the free world then needs to go get another option. My last couple of things I saw out there. They're talking about the rapid acceleration of digital transformation is driven by technologies like IoT, multi-cloud, and advanced data analytics. Lexmark with all their great Internet of Things, their cloud services. This is horrifying to me, and folks, I brought this up so many times, and I still can't believe that Alan, the CEO of Lexmark, has not been held accountable to this. This is absurdity. This guy has completely skated the realities of what's on their website regarding privacy policy and cross-border transfers. This is so damn scary, and the fact that the CEO of Lexmark is not addressing this makes it even more scary. Ladies and gentlemen, can I read it to you again? We are a global organization with offices and customers around the world. To efficiently manage our business and best serve you, all kinds of data, not just personal data, may be transferred and accessed by Lexmark entities. Lexmark entities worldwide on the basis of this privacy notice and in alignment with international data privacy standards. Holy crap. They're owned by a PRC, a company called 9-Star, who's been banned by the Department of Homeland Security over slave labor. Do you honestly believe the Communist Party, the PRC company, abides by international data law? This is what we believe. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you this. The PRC 9-Star loves Lexmark's cloud. I mean, they're just loving it. They sit around the boardroom and they're saying, oh, man, this is so awesome. I mean, we used to have to send the balloon over to spy, and get data. But now we got the Lexmark cloud. And Lexmark, they're selling all these machines to U.S. government offices and stuff. This is fantastic. And we even tell them, we tell the whole world right on Lexmark's website that they're sharing all the data with us, and they don't even care. They still buy our products. I mean, 9-Star, they got to be just loving life. They're high-fiving each other all through the halls of the Zhuhao office. Oh, this is fantastic. The Americans are so damn stupid. They're so easy manipulated, it's unbelievable. As long as Lexmark, the subsidiary we own, takes them out for bourbon flights, steak dinners, and lets them go to a horse race, they'll do anything. They don't give a shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I know today's episode was a little bit tough, but at the end of the day, we're in a fight. I'm not letting up. And I'm going to challenge the status quo on this issue. And we need to get out and fight. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.